Disappointment, death, failure, and rejection. All words that Rhoda Deal experienced throughout most of her life as a teen and young woman. It wasn't how life was supposed to turn out.
I grew up into a Christian home that had Christian values, so I had great expectations of thinking that life was going to be a breeze.
Those expectations began to dissipate when her mother was diagnosed with breast cancer.
It was really hard to digest. At 17, I didn't know how intense it was, and I really didn't know anything about cancer. So I just pushed it away and just ignored it.
While her mother's cancer went into remission with treatment, Rhoda's life would continue to unravel. Then at 19, her short marriage to her childhood sweetheart imploded after the birth of her first child.
I was disappointed. I felt like I had been forsaken. I felt like I had all this shame and hurt and false accusations of people surmising of why Rhoda's life is like this.
Now 22 and a single mom, Rhoda began having thoughts of suicide. When she reached out to family and church, she was met with platitudes of little help or comfort.
And I was like, I'm depressed because my life is broken. My dreams is broken. You know, yeah, I am. I'm shattered. And I am depressed. And every time I'd say I was depressed, nobody wanted to help me. And I was crying out for help.
With her faith quickly eroding, she stepped into a world of medication, chain smoking, and drinking. In the midst of this lifestyle, she would, for the second time, have a child and then a divorce.
I got entangled with some wrong people that led me and introduced me to the world.
Rhoda's already weakened faith in God had turned into resentment.
I was like, you know what? He doesn't listen to me. He hasn't given me my desires of my heart. He doesn't heal my heart. That was the hardest thing in my life, to ever have to accept that I wasn't, I guess, good enough.
Rhoda thought her life couldn't get any worse until her mom's cancer not only returned, but had quickly spread throughout her body.
Every day we'd wake up to the same thing. And to watch her, not want to die, she was fighting to live. It was the most heart-wrenching thing ever.
Within a few short months, her mom passed away. The feelings of God's rejection began to intensify.
I felt like not only was he rejecting me, I felt like he wasn't real. I felt like I hadn't seen God do anything for me. So he's not real. Where is he at?
It wasn't long before Rhoda hit her breaking point.
I just came home and my kids were in my brother's house at the time. I had this song playing and I was just sitting there soaking everything in, just unwinding from that night. All of a sudden, something makes me turn around and look in the back, and I looked into the rearview mirror as well. And I looked back and I had seen all my kids' belongings and our belongings. And I was like, God, what do you want from me? Because I didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know where we were going to live. I didn't know what was going to take place, but only God knew. So I surrendered my life to God. I gave my heart back to God. And I said, God, forgive me. And I'm sorry. And I said, I was sorry. And I was sorry for being angry with him for all those many years. I was sorry for rejecting him, because I knew that now that it wasn't him that left me, it was me that left him.
Rhoda says over time, her need for things like smoking and drinking declined. Instead, she began praying and fasting to draw closer to God.
I felt God just take and mold me into a whole different person. Like my whole appearance, God changed me from the inside, not only, even the outward appearance, even my language.
Eventually, she did meet and marry the man of her dreams, Troy Deal, on October 9th, 2009, and they went on to have 3 more children.
God did heal my wounds. He healed my broken heart. And the main thing is that he had to heal my mind, because like I said, I was convinced that I wasn't ever good enough. I was convinced because of my past, because of everything that has happened in my life, that I wasn't usable, that God couldn't use me.
Today, Troy and Rhoda continue to raise their blended family in faith in Christ, while Rhoda travels across the country sharing her story of salvation and overcoming life's disappointments.
God can take the impossible, make it possible, and that's exactly what he did for me in my life. He took this broken, messed up girl and said, hey, I'm gonna use you, and I'm gonna put you back together the way I want you to be put back together. When Jesus comes in completely in your life and cleans you up mentally, and not only physically, he doesn't do halfway jobs. He completely does it, and that's what he did.